Hello everybody, welcome back to the garden. Today we are discussing why our seedlings that we have growing are turning yellow and when it is time to plant them out. When a plant turns yellow, it's a pretty good indication that you also need to plant them out into the garden as well. So I'm going to be back in a second and I'm going to explain to you why they turn yellow and when to plant them out. Welcome to Little Patch. My name's Kim, and if you ever wanted to learn how to grow, preserve and use your own food, you're in the right spot. This community is here to help you guys learn how to do that. So hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with all the new videos that are going to be coming out over this coming season, and we will see you out in the garden, in the kitchen, in the pantry, or wherever we happen to be today. So our seedlings turn yellow for one of a couple of reasons. One is they are short on nutrients, and two, because they are running out of space in the pots that they're in. So when a plant runs out of nutrients, it's basically telling you that it needs some more nutrients put into the soil, whether that be due to putting some liquid fertilizer in there so they get an instant boost, or whether you need to put some more slow release fertilizer in there, depending on how long they still need to be in the greenhouse. So I'm going to show you a couple of my seedlings in here. These guys were all planted at exactly the same time. I can't remember how long it's been. I think it's about four to 6 weeks that they've been in here. I'll drop down the bottom there how long it's been in here. And if you guys want to check out the video that I did on how I planted these seedlings into the greenhouse, I'll put that up the top at the end or in the description down below, so you can check that out as well, how I plant my seedlings in. Now, so I'm just going to show you what I've got happening in here and explain to you what I'm going to be doing with my seedlings. So these are cucumbers here. You can see some of these are just starting to get some yellowing in them. So these, I could just give these guys a fertilizer with some liquid fertilizer and they will do just fine in there for a bit longer. But you can see that my tray is really quite full as well. Over in the back here, these cucumbers, they are not greening. There is less, sorry, they're not turning yellow yet, but there is a lot less of them in the pot. So there's less of them to fight for the nutrients in the pot itself. Next to them, these are the zucchinis. You can see these zucchinis are really starting to get a nice orangey look to them. And that is because these guys are a lot bigger than the cucumbers next to them. So these zucchinis, I have two choices with these. I can give them a fertilizer with some liquid fertilizer shot and keep them going in here for maybe another week or so, or I can choose to plant them out. Now these zucchinis are well big enough to be planted out, so that is what I'm going to be doing in the next few days, hopefully in the next couple of days, because we've got some rain coming through soon, and that'll give them a really good watering and a good start as well. Now you can see these guys are really starting to get really yellow. This is a yellow squash plant that we're looking at here. They are not supposed to be that color, even though it's a yellow squash. But you can see these guys are not very big. They are only about an inch or so tall. They've not got enough leaves on them. Some of the leaves are starting to die. That is due to it is definitely watering time today. But so these guys are not big enough, so I could give them a shot of liquid fertilizer, see how they go. But because they are in these teeny tiny little pots, I think my best bet would be to transplant them into a bigger spot, into a bigger pot with some more space, with some fresh soil in them. And the ones at the back here, these are in those little baggies that I tried out. I wouldn't recommend these. They're not the best either. They dry out really quickly and easy, but you can see this, well, these guys are starting to yellow out as well. But these are, we've got pumpkin and more yellow squash in here, so these are pretty much almost big enough to be going out, so I'll probably just plant them out as well. And this pot here, This is some more zucchini, and you can see these guys are really quite big in here, really quite big. And this one, but there's only 7 plants in that pot. Compared to this pot of zucchini plants, there is a lot more in them. So these ones are not fighting for the nutrients as much as the other pot is. So they will get planted out. They're going to probably be my healthiest ones. They will probably be the ones that do really well. For the tomatoes, you can see there are huge amounts. Snails. But I put snail pellets in, so this snail is dead, thankfully. I have an awful lot of tomato plants. So I'm going to have to go through these, pick out and replant these and to different pots. I will probably use the same pots. I will just probably fill them up more with soil and spread them all out and just have them that way, because they're not big enough. They're only about the length of my finger, the tallest ones, so they're not big enough to go out into the garden yet. They will get eaten by snails very quickly. I've also got the watermelons in here. These guys are still not big enough to go out either, and the area they're going into is not ready, and they are not turning yellow, so I might just put some more dynamic lifter on these pellets and they will continue in here for a couple more weeks. But you can see most of these are doing really well. Some of the ones that have got way too many in them are starting to struggle because they're running out of the nutrients that's in the pots. And especially those that are in the smaller pots. These are zucchini as well, and you see they're not doing very well at all in these little paper pots. Besides they're dried out, they've run out of nutrients in the soil that they're in. So even my chili plants in the large pots here, you can see they're starting to yellow off in the leaves as well. So it's a good indication that my big chili plants and the capsicums, which are requiring a drink, have the same issue as the seedlings, that they are running out of nutrients in their soil. I will be planting these out into the garden so that they can grow big and strong again and hopefully get lots of fruit off of them as well. So it is, guys, just a matter of feeding your plants when they tell you that they need it and giving them water when they tell you that they need it. I'm going to quickly just talk about hardening off, guys. A lot of people harden theirs off. I don't have to harden mine off. In my greenhouse here for the last week or so, the roof has stayed open day and night. I shut the doors to keep the animals out, but the temperatures in here have been changing according to what's inside and outside, so I don't have to harden mine off. But if you are keeping yours inside the house and in a really sheltered position, then it is a very good idea to take them outside for an hour or so during the day, bring them back inside, and continue doing that over the space of about 5 or 6 days until they're fully outside. These seedlings are. But because of the way I do mine, leaving the roof open, this greenhouse gets cold and hot throughout the day, with the temperatures running backwards and up and down. So I've never had any problems doing it this way. So I will just, over the next few days, start getting some of these out into the garden and getting them grown. So don't forget to keep an eye out for those vids, guys, coming up over the next week on how I'm planting these out and what I'm putting into the soils and making everything happy for them to keep growing. Guys, thank you for joining me here again, and I hope this quick video explained to you that the yellowing off is just a natural process when the plant runs out of food. Like us, we run out of food, we start to feel look and yucky, so we feed ourselves again, and it's exactly the same with your plants. Feed them up, and they should do really well. So thank you for joining me here in the greenhouse, and I'll put a couple of links up the top here for you guys, and the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. It really shows me which videos you guys are loving, put in the comments what videos you'd like to see coming up over this harvest season for 2021, and any questions you have, don't forget to comment down the bottom, and I will try to get back to every single one of you as soon as I can. And we'll see you in the garden, the kitchen, or wherever we will be the next time we see each other.